Before I begin, I just want to say we're not and I say this sincerely and not as a cliche, you already are quite amazing. It really has been my office's great pleasure and honor to work together with Sim and the fantastic work that you do in the Safe House, so keep up the good work, keep up the good fight. I also just want to tell you how fantastic, I mean, it's always good to be, in a room of sisters in arms. But I just want to tell you honestly, this is such a dang good-looking room. I feel a little bit like this early morning version of Sex and the City in here. Like we all wore our good, outfits for each other this morning, and really, you guys are good. So I really do want to thank all of the sponsors, but of course, in particular, Maria, the Partnership for Democracy and Education, Center for Women in Politics and Public Policy, for bringing this kick-ass group of women together. And I don't know if there's any media in here, please don't, put me saying swear words, but it is such a shot in the arm to be, as I said, among the Sisters in Arms at the beginning of the day. And I thank you for bringing us all together, both today and over time. So as an early speaker on the docket, I just wanted to talk a little bit about sort of why it matters, right? Why is it important that we're here? What's the point of this all? And three things came to mind for me really easily, and then I added a fourth one on at the end. But first of all, I want to say that it's important that we're here and that we're doing this, just because we are 50% of the dang population. We don't need any other reason than that. It is true, we impact policy in important ways. But, we're half of the population and we deserve equal access to whatever profession that we might find fulfillment in. And I think that's an important thing to stand up and say, that it's not selfish to say that we as women want to have that just because we deserve it, and no other reason is needed after that. Secondly, I know very practically from experience that it does make a big policy difference to have progressive women of color in the room and around the table. Because we're not just half of the population, we're half of the talent. And right now, we make up about a quarter of the state legislature here in Massachusetts, and even less than that in our national government. And so that means we're 25% short of the full talent pool that we might have available to us as a Commonwealth and as a country. We have some really serious challenges that we are facing as a society. And if you don't think that we could really use that extra 25% worth of talent, I don't know what Congress you're looking at in Washington, D.C. And then the third one was really a particular, I want to just tell a particular story that's so fresh in my mind because it just happened last week. And this really does speak to the very specific policy difference that I think it makes to have progressive women of color in positions of power in our halls of government. And last week was the budget week in the Senate, budget debate week in the Senate. And as many of you know, there were some pretty punitive proposals on the table about how to curtail our EBT system, our food stamps and cash assistance program for women and families who are in dire economic distress. Putting a lot of constraints on how women can spend those EBT, not just women, but recipients, primarily, which are women, can spend those EBT benefits. And some of you might have heard this was about, you can't spend you can't spend your benefits on cosmetics, you can't, no conditioner, just the basics. Really, that's just one example, but really, sort of Big Brother looking over the shoulder, taking away any shred of dignity that's left in that system. And so I proposed an amendment to one of those amendments that took all of the language, all of the rules that were proposed to be placed on the EBT system and just said, let's put all of those rules on any corporation that is receiving tax expenditures and tax subsidies. I have to tell you that it's the best fun that I've had, most fun 15 minutes that I've had in that building since I was sworn into office. And it didn't pass. I knew it wasn't going to pass going in, but it felt really good, and I think it was important to get up there and change the way that the direction of that debate was going, and to at least prompt the question, why aren't we willing to ask the same of corporations, and let's say primarily wealthy white men, who are receiving our taxpayer dollars that we are very willing to put on poor women in our Commonwealth, primarily who are women of color. And I think that's a discussion that we need to have more loudly and more often. And that's a conversation that I feel very confident that the women in this room are going to bring to our public sphere. So that's just a very personal example of the kind of difference that you all and that we all can make as we build and construct this pipeline. So I thank you so much for the great work that you're doing here and I ask you to keep it up. And I'm so pleased to be a part of this team. Thank you.